The Sunday after Thanksgiving is generally the busiest travel day of the year, but the government shutdown has left some flyers feeling uneasy this year. According to new data from the aviation analytics company Cirium, at the end of October, flight bookings were up 2.2% compared to the same time last year. But the pace of people buying tickets has slowly dropped since the start of November. The data supports statements from multiple airlines that say they have not seen a meaningful amount of Thanksgiving cancellations, but that demand for trips in recent weeks has slowed. Cudahy joins us now. He's a senior aviation reporter for travel website The Points Guy. Thanks for being here again. So as we look ahead to Thanksgiving, can we expect airlines to be back to their full schedules by then following this record-long shutdown?
I think so. If you look at what we've seen the last few days, it's been a pretty dramatic improvement. If you think back to last weekend, there were the cuts that the FAA had put in place. They were requiring airlines to cancel flights at a bunch of airports nationwide. But we saw way more delays and cancellations even than that. We saw these disruptions cascading over the entire day, mass staffing problems at control towers. All of those problems have really improved in the last few days. The FAA is still requiring airlines to cancel some flights, but that's really all the disruptions we're seeing at this point, and things are looking very different than they did just a few days ago.
Which is great news, but there's always some fine print, right? Because look, this current air traffic controller system is still pretty sensitive.
It is. If you think back all year, we've really been talking about, the shortage of air traffic controllers. Think back to Newark this spring when we had all those problems. The way I look at it is that really any, problem that pops up that kind of strains our aviation system right now, there's kind of a downstream effect with air traffic controllers. And as far as travelers are concerned, that really leads to flight delays. So, over Thanksgiving, things I think should be a lot better than we were expecting even just a few days ago. But, if we were to get a big weather system to move through the East Coast, that could definitely disrupt things and lead to some cascading disruptions for travelers.
Let's talk about how people are feeling. You polled your readers about how air travel disruptions have affected their holiday plans. What were the biggest takeaways?
Yeah, I think we definitely have seen some sentiment from travelers deteriorate here in the last couple of weeks as we've seen, these large scale disruptions. About 40% of travelers that were planning Thanksgiving trips have either canceled, rescheduled, or just decided to kind of throw in the towel on that trip. So that's kind of a notable finding there. We're also finding almost half of the people that we polled in conjunction with YouGov some rising fears about air travel, about safety, and I think that goes in kind of conjunction with some of the problems we've seen all year, which go back to in the wake of the tragic crash in Washington D.C. back in January. It's just been kind of an uneasy year for travelers.
Okay, Cudahy, thank you.